Sairam students, let's begin with the class 8 history. We have already started with chapter number 7 of history, civilizing the native, educating the nation. Children, today we are doing the part 3 of this chapter. We have already started with the introduction. We have done with the introduction in our previous session. Even we have started with the main topic, that is how the British saw education. Under this main topic, children, you have learnt about the tradition of Orientalism, as well as in our last session we did the topic grave errors of the East, right? So before going to the next topic of today's session, that is education for commerce, we will just have a quick recap of what did we learnt in the grave errors of the East. I hope you remember the tradition of Orientalism very well. In that we saw the supporters of the Orientalism, right? Oriental learning, right? Whereas in the grave errors of the East, we saw those were the British officials, those were the critics. Critics mean those who were criticizing this Oriental learning. They were not supporting that, right? In that we saw James Mill was one of those who attacked the Orientalists, right? What did he say? He declared that British effort should not be to teach what the natives wanted or what they respected in order to please them. So, and win a place in their heart, that should not be the aim of education. Then what was, according to James Mill, the aim of education? The aim of education ought to be to teach what was useful and practical, right? This is what he suggested. So as he was one of the major critic, but along with them, by 1830 the attack on the Orientalists, it became very sharper. So the one most influential and the outspoken critic came in the critic of that time was the Thomas Babington Macaulay, right? Then what did he say for India? He saw India as an uncivilized country that needed to be civilized. This is what he said. And even he committed this statement: a single shelf of a good European library was worth the whole native literature of India in Arabic, right? This is what he commented, because he was one of the major critic. Along with the James Mill, he was also there. So finally, with great energy and passion, he emphasized the need to teach the English language, right? This is what we saw. Then the teaching of English, why he was suggesting that? Because it could be the way of civilizing people. As per Macaulay, Indians were uncivilized, right? So the way of civilizing people, changing their taste, values and culture. Then finally in the year 1835, the Macaulay's Minute, the English Education Act was introduced in the year 1835. Then what was the main purpose of that? The decision was to make English the medium of instruction for higher education, and also to stop the promotion of Oriental institutions that was set up by William Jones, Hallett, and this Calcutta Madrasa, as well as the Banaras Sanskrit College. So what these institutions were considered as? These were seen as the temples of darkness. Then finally the English textbooks began to be produced for schools, right? This is what you have learnt in the topic grave errors of the East. That means the shortcomings that given by the critics, that is the British officials, for the East culture, that is for the Indian culture, right? Now the next topic, children, in the main topic, how the British saw education, the next we are going to learn today is education for commerce, as well as the demand for moral education. So let's begin with the topic education for commerce. What happened in this? In the year 1854, the Court of Directors of the East India Company in London. What they did? Court of Directors means that together the team of the directors of the East India Company. What did they decided in London? They sent an educational dispatch to whom? To the Governor General in India. See here, the image has been given to you. That is the image of that Charles Wood, that was issued by Charles Wood, the president of the board of control of the company. Children, you all know very well, when we have the team of the directors together for each and every company, it is like that. when they have the board of directors, one person is going to be the president also, that is at the toppest level, right? So here the Charles Wood, he was the president of the board of control of the company. Then what happened in that, it has come to be known as the Woods Dispatch, because Charles Wood was also there in that as the board of director, as the president of the board of control. So that is the reason it was came to be known as the Woods Dispatch. So what was the main content of that dispatch? What was issued in that? It was outlining the educational policy that was to be followed in India. That is, it emphasized once again the practical benefits of a system of European learning as opposed to the Oriental knowledge. So here again they outlined that the educational policy that India should follow should have the practical benefits of the European learning. So again they emphasized that is only that was more on the European learning rather than the Oriental knowledge or Oriental learning. Then what was the practical use of it? One of the practical uses the dispatch pointed to was economic. See, actually speaking, the main purpose of the Britishers was to have the trade and commerce in our country, right, in India. So whatever policies they will follow, even in the educational system, that should be economic to them, right? Otherwise, if no returns, they will not get any returns. Then what is the point of it? The main profit oriented, the main aim of profit earning should be completed there also. So that is the reason it is like one of the practical use of the dispatch pointed towards economic. It should be economic, right? Then the second one was the European learning. As we saw previously also, the main focus was on the European learning rather than the Oriental knowledge, right? It said would enable Indians to recognize the advantages that flow from the expansion of trade and commerce. See, they want by European learning, Indians will also understand how to have the expansion in the trade and commerce. They will be able to understand the policies, administrative policies in the better way. Then the importance of developing the resources of the country. This was also included in that. They were focusing on importance of developing the resources of our country. Then introducing them to European ways of life. And what was the main purpose of this Woods Dispatch? They were thinking that if the European ways of life will be introduced in the Indian education, then it would change their taste and desires and even create a demand for British goods. For Indians would begin to appreciate and buy things that were produced in Europe. See, that is the reason, like, they just want to vanish Indian culture, Indian goods, everything from the country, so that the whole market will be captured by the Europeans only. Not only in the market, like it is not only connected to the goods, but even the taste, values, culture, everything should be European. That is the reason they want Indians also to learn that European culture, and they would begin to appreciate and buy the things that were produced in Europe. So even it would make them, what was the Woods Dispatch that he also argued that European learning would improve the moral character of Indians. Why did he commented that? Because he said by European learning, it would make them the truthful and honest, and thus supply the company with civil servants who could be trusted and depended upon. Children, just try to understand what they were thinking, what that Woods Dispatch was trying to give there. It is like European learning will make the Indians, their moral character of Indians will be built up because of European learning. It will improve, and that is going to be helpful for the East India Company. They can get the good supply of the civil servants who could be trusted and depended upon. Even what else was given that the literature of the East was not only full of grave errors. This is what we have seen in the last session, right? They were thinking that it was full of the our literature of the East was full of the errors, right? It could also not instill in people a sense of duty and a commitment to work. So that is the reason they have commented like Wood's dispatch that European learning will make them truthful and honest, whereas the this Eastern culture, that is the Eastern literature of the East would not instill in people a sense of duty and a commitment of work, nor could it develop the skills that were required for administration policies. So, following the 1854 dispatch, several measures were introduced by the British. Now, what measures were introduced? Just have a look here. Education departments of the government were set up to extend control over all matters regarding education. Okay, and even the steps were taken to establish a system of university education. Children, if we'll talk about the ancient culture of our India, before the Britishers came to India, we were not having the culture like universities were not there at that time. There was a system of Gurukul. Okay, but then as soon as this this East India Company came to our Britishers came to our country, now with the Woods Dispatch, that is the policy of 1854, the steps were taken to establish a system of university education. See, universities were being established in Calcutta, Madras, and Bombay. Here, the images of the Bombay University, Calcutta University, and the Madras University have been given to you. Then steps were taken to establish a system of university education, right? Then the year 1857, you all remember that year, the importance of that year, 1857. While the Sepoys rose in revolt in Meerut and Delhi, universities were established in Calcutta, Madras, and Bombay at that time. Then even the attempts were also made to bring about changes within the system of school education. So now the next attempt was towards the school education. But an argument for the European knowledge has been given to you here. That is, Wood's Dispatch of 1854 marked the final triumph of those who opposed Oriental learning. What it stated here? We must empathically declare that the education which we desire to see extended in India is that which has for its object the diffusion of the improved arts, service, philosophy, and literature of Europe. In short, European knowledge, or we can say the European learning. Ultimately, the European learning wanted to be prevailed in our country, right? Now let's move further to the next topic, that is the demand for moral education. Right here, see here you have seen the Britishers, they were behind the trade. They want to earn something from that education also, right? That is the reason they were having their administrative policies of the education system according to that, for the trade and commerce, right? But now here the demand for moral education. Now moral education, how it started. Here the image has been given of William Carey. William Carey, a Scottish missionary who helped establish the Serampore mission. Now, the argument for practical education was strongly criticized. See, the practical education was enforced by the East India Company, right? They were emphasizing on the practical education. But now here, who is going to oppose this? By the Christian missionaries in India. It was opposed by the Christian missionaries in India in the 19th century. Now the missionaries, what they felt? Missionaries felt that these are not connected to the East India Company. They are the believers of the Christianity. They want the moral education should be there in India. Why? Because they want to have something based on the religious moral values. Okay, whereas East India Company was focusing only on the practical European learning, right? The practical education. Now, the missionaries, what they felt? They felt that the education should attempt to improve the moral character of the people, and morality could be improved only through Christian education. This is what the Christian missionaries, they thought of having this. They wanted to change the system of education in India. whereas East India Company was sticking to another pattern. Okay, but now here is a clash again. So they were strongly opposing. Christian missionary was strongly opposing to the East India Company, to the British officials. So until 1813, the East India Company was opposed to missionary activities in India. Then unable, it feared that missionary activities would provoke. What was the fear in the East India Company's mind? They were fearing that the missionary activities would provoke reaction amongst the local population and make them suspicious of British presence in India. They were worried like people may again, the local population may get provokedness from that Christian missionaries. Okay, and then they will oppose them, and then the presence of British will be insuspicious. Okay, unable to establish an institution within British controlled territories. The missionaries set up a mission at Serampore in an area under the control of the Danish East India Company. See, this Christian missionaries, they did not started anything, any company or any missionary where the East India Company was having their control, not in that territory, because British controlled territories were not allowing them to establish any institution, right? So they set up a mission at Serampore in an area under the control of the Danish East India Company, that is related to Denmark. So they started there. What they did there? Their missionary was set up in the year then the printing press was set up in the year 1800 there, and a college was established in 1818. Okay, where? In the Serampore. Okay, in the Serampore, in an area under the control of the Danish East India Company. What was established first? A printing press was set up in the year 1800, and then a college was established in the year 1818. Then over the 19th century, missionary schools were set up all over India. See, after the revolt of 1857, even British government, they changed their attitude. After 1857, however, the British government in India was reluctant to directly support missionary education. Whereas by 1800 and 1818, they were not supporting them, right? But after 1857, the British government in India was also reluctant to directly support the missionary education. There was a feeling that any strong attack on local custom, practices, beliefs and religious idea might enrage native opinion. What was the feelings in the mind of the East India Company? They were with the feeling what the British government was thinking. They were having that thinking in their mind, that they were strongly believing like if they will attack on the local customs or the practices that were followed by the Indians, or the beliefs of the Indians, or the religious ideas of the Indians, that might enrage them, like they may get enraged again, or they may have that attitude of fighting, or the revolt attitude of having revolt with them again. So that is the reason they were having that strong feeling in their mind. That is the reason they changed their mindset up after 1857, and they directly supported missionary education that was based on the moral education, right? So that is what we have seen, the demand for moral education. So children, in today's session, we have completed the two topics, that is education for commerce. In that we saw the Woods dispatch policy, right? What was implemented in that policy? What was the main advantages of that, right? And then we saw the demand for moral education. So children, here we have completed the main first topic of our chapter, how the British saw the education. Okay, now in the next session, children, will be starting with the main topic, what happened to the local schools. Then we will see what changes the British they brought in the local schools of the Indians that they were having in their ancient times. Okay, so in the next session, we will be starting with the new topic. So children, see you in the next session with a new topic, that is what happened to the local schools. Till then, go through the slides, understand that topic very well, and take good care of your health.